Hello and welcome. My name is Tobal, and thank you so much for joining me for another Let's Play of Surviving Mars with the Space Race DLC. We are, in fact, ready to land our colonists. They've been up there, orbiting around for just a couple sols, not too much. But I think, at this point, we've got everything in place. Now, we'll find out pretty quick if we don't, because they'll start complaining, or dying, either way. One small oversight may be that I might have forgotten to bring any food with me. They do have production of food, however, although that's going to take them a hot minute to get ready. So let's do... Wheatgrass grows really quick, microgreens and leaf crop. Let's keep it on leaf crop. What I'm going to do, they should survive just fine for long enough for me to send a supply pod filled with food. Let's not tell anyone at launch control or basically on Earth that I did that. Okay, that'll be between us. So our new colonists are landing. They have full bellies, I hope, and they are going to be rocking out on their new homes.
Full of hope and determination, the first founders have set foot on the Red Planet.
All right. So oh, interesting. That's right. You cannot send more colonists for 10 souls. Forgot all about that one. They basically just have to survive. You have to prove that they can survive, which is fine. I'm sure they'll be fine. Alright, so they're going to go down and bounce across to their new homes. That's freaking adorable. Maybe you guys should walk, you know? That's you're being a bit aggressive here.
New colonists have arrived.
We did have extra living quarters, so we have 20. We have space for 28 colonists. We have 12. The big problem that we're going to encounter is the fact that 12 colonists have to share like 45 jobs, so that's going to be a bit rough. What we're going to do is prioritize a couple of things. We're going to have one shift of... Yeah, I think we're going to have one shift available for a lot of these pleasure buildings. What we could wind up doing is have... Yeah, we may just have to let it roll. I mean, I'm not too worried about the specialization. It's not that big of a deal. I do want to have our... somebody doing some rare metals. Oh, we should actually, because this is a rare metals extractor, we should put a rare metals depot right next door, so they don't have to go very far to drop those off. But yeah, so our colonists are here. What are they up to? They all disappeared. I think they're all in bed. I have no idea. Oh yeah, I forgot about this neat little tunnel. Oh, it's a nice little catwalk, or a people mover here. Oh, that's nice. Inactive work shift. Do we just not have... Oh, it's the middle work shift. That's fine. It's actually stopped. That's okay. Because we just don't have anyone working on the second shift. Can we tell what time of... I guess not. It says stop work shift. Okay, so that's just complaining that we don't have a work shift there. Which is fine. We just don't have enough people for it. You barely make anything per turn. Should we just stop some of these production items? Like, should we stop the electronics factory until we need maybe that's what we could do. We could stop each of these factories until we have a need for that particular item, which of course we do need polymers. We could... What do we need? What do we have? Is it like the same guy? Alright, so we've got our medics on shift. 2 medics, 1 for each shift, which is nice. It's got enough coverage there. We've got some folks working in the botany building, or sorry, in the grocer. Some folks working in the diner. Maybe we should have the morning shift be the work shift and the afternoon shift be the fun shift. This is second shift. Maybe that's what we'll do. We'll have work take place in the morning shift. Because I think we're just gonna have to micro this just a tiny bit. Okay, so everybody works during the morning, and everyone does social stuff and fun stuff in the afternoon, and then they sleep at night. Okay, that kind of makes sense to me. This is the grocer, so they'll also do their shopping in the afternoon. We will leave the medic up for both shifts in case that's something that people need to come by. maybe they do. I don't actually know if people will, if they're ill, come over and do that during the day. So it's nighttime. We lost a lot of our solar power, but we do have quite a bit of solar power stored up. So I'm not too worried because we're only losing like 9 per, what is this, per minute, per whatever it happens to be. So we have quite a bit of stored power left over. I'm not too concerned about an overnight because we should be able to cover the overnight loss with our batteries. And then during the day when the batteries are back, the solar panels are back up, that should cover the everything we need in terms of energy. We're almost done refueling the rocket. We'll send that back. Not that it matters. We have to wait 9 sols for our next colonists to come out. A little awkward that I forgot the food, so, you know. Oops and stuff, right? It's a little bit of an oopsie. Okay, our shuttle's ready to go. We'll send you back off, or our rocket rather. And our new supply pod with all the food that I totally brought in with me is about to get here. Oh, are these overall rules for your thing? Let's take a look at that in just a minute after we land this down. Oh, shoot. Please move. Run. Run. Oh, you can't move him out of the way. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to almost kill you, my friend. Okay, we'll salvage the supply pod remains.
Sector scanned.
They should be making all of the food. I don't know. I think they store the food actually inside. Yeah, they do store it. I think if they store it in the grocer. So you can store 10 food here. You can store 10 food here. Okay. And they just get drunk at the spacebar. Sounds good. So we're on our, let's see, let's look at we're on the first shift right now. So what are people doing right now? They work out in the mornings. They're just hanging out. What kind of information do we get when we click on someone? We can see their overall sanity, health, comfort, right? It's pretty rough right now. There's not really a whole lot of fun things to do. He's sexy. He's dead sexy. Excellent, sexy guy. Oh, we can't rename you. You're going to work at the rare metals. Got a couple people working there right now. Hydroponics. You're still sleeping? Come on now, it's like the third shift, or the first shift. Let's go, wake up. So let's see, what can we do on our... Clicking on the actual dome itself, we can say whether or not we allow berths. Use passages for work. Passages for services, that's interesting. Accept new colonists. It's really cool, I think, that you can have separate domes now finally dedicated to specific things. So we can have a huge, massive dome. And that's kind of my plan. What I want over here is to have a nice, big, living dome with a couple basic services in it. And then maybe one dome that can handle food, entertainment, and another dome or a couple domes that would just be work. And I think that'd be really cool, especially if you could really develop the passage network. But I think it's a straight shot. It doesn't look like you can branch it off anywhere. I'm still a bit annoyed that you can't simply connect 2 openings on the domes. Maybe you can later with technology, or maybe you can with a mod. But it would seem likely that you should be able to just connect these up and then make an entrance right in the middle of it if you want people to be able to come out. Maybe that is a mod or something else that we can look at later on. Let's take a look at our research. We did finish quite a few things here, and we're progressing pretty far in the engineering tree. And as you go further in, these items start to cost more money. So I'm going to step back a notch and research some items that are behind us in levels. So you don't really see what's ahead in your tree unless you research the previous thing, or unless you get lucky and research a anomaly. But since we haven't really found any anomalies in a minute, I'm going to send some research into each of these trees to kind of unlock the next item along. Because I want to find some specific things. Like there's one that gives us a flat money boost. There's a couple that are unlock new domes and things like that. And we're a little tight on money. We're not too terrible. Oh, we're actually negative on food overall. Or sorry, electricity overall. because we're just low on power here. So maybe we add, each of these is 0.5, each of these is 1 metal. Maybe I'll go ahead and add a couple more solar panels in, because I feel like metal is a little bit easier to get than using up all our machine parts. And our machine parts are almost done. So let's add a couple more solar panels here. Again, we'll be draining down at night, but we will be regenning that in the day if our solar panels are working at full capacity. So we're doing fine there. Let's speed things up. We're just at the minimum requirements on water and oxygen. Now, I noticed that the base production of a water extractor is 5, but because this deposit is a very low-grade water, you're only getting 3 out of that, or 3.6 out of the actual area here. So, lack of demand. Oh, okay. Maybe that's not the case. Maybe they are just. It still says it can only produce 3. So the base production is 5. Let's look at this real quick. The base production of these are 5, and then it's lowered if you have a different grade of resource. So it looks like the base production for them is 3, but they don't need any more yet, so they're not producing more. And our water tanks might be full. Yep, that's why they're not producing extra, which is fine. We can have that just sitting there, and if we start getting a kind of a negative in the water category, we know that we've got a minute at least, so the stored water can start to stockpile, and it'll start being draining from the stockpile rather. Alright, so our folks are partying hard, having fun. Got a couple folks working at the polymer factory. We've got a scientist working there. I mean, I don't think you're gonna get perfection here at all. How much science are you guys generating? Not much. Did you just leave, maybe?
Research complete.
You're literally generating 0 research per soul.
Resources are low.
Interesting. Interesting. Maybe they have to have a full. Maybe they have to have a full staff to get that. What did we just research? We researched the specialist. Scientists and botanists have 10+ performance. Increase research provided by sponsor by 100. We want this because we definitely need more research per soul. You know, it's gonna just be at the start of the game. It's a little bit slow because, well, there's 2 stages, right? There's the initial build-up phase where you have to use your drones to build everything, and then there's also the kind of the initial survival phase for 10 whole souls, which can be a little bit slow because really there's, you know, not a whole lot going on in your bases. You've got a very limited crew doing a very large number of jobs, so they just kind of have to be flexible. And we made it back in terms of our power, so we're back above the cap here. So I think what we'll do, I don't have any pressing needs. I really don't want to keep building just for the sake of building. We're continuing to scan. And we will continue to send our explorer out, but I think I will put a quick cut in here until we get to the end of our founder stage and we can start bringing more colonists over. That way you don't have to sit through that. And I might send out our rover to get some more surface minerals if needed, but we're still doing pretty good overall, I think. I will send them out to pick up some of these resources that are just hanging out. And we might even look at getting an automated metals extractor here, although that would be quite a distance to run for, you know, moving minerals between the two. But I'll put a cut in here real quick, and I'll just bring you back into this video as soon as we get our founder stage over with. Okay, we're just a little bit away from having our founder stage be complete. Couple things we changed here. I did add a couple more power generating devices because we were a little bit under the necessity here. It's really interesting. The power does drop quite a bit in the middle of the day, so what I'm thinking is it might be a shift change is what's doing that. So we only had 7 extra electricity in the morning, and then as soon as the afternoon shift hits, it goes up to 64. So maybe I don't quite need to be as aggressive on all the power that I've made. I might wind up just turning a few of these off, because as long as we're generating this much power during midday, the battery should fill up and get us through the overnight and morning period without running out of juice. So we'll try that and see what works out. We have a gambling midst the stars
first
message.
colonists are all gamblers coming to Mars.
Basically, someone
It's the
got the
ultimate
gambler
war.
trait. So we have one alcoholic. We got the message about that earlier. Somebody developed alcoholism, and one person has developed the gambling trait. I did trim up some of the shifts. So our medic is working the second shift, because that's the first shift people get to come off of their heavy work job. So we've got the research lab, the hydroponic farm, and the machine parts factory all on the first shift. And I have completely disabled the electronics and polymer factory because we only really need machine parts at the moment. We might have to
Resources are
micromanage
low.
machine parts and polymers at the same time. Oh, we're actually really short of food. I didn't catch that until just now. These are about to, this is actually about to go. Perhaps we should prioritize this and see if we can encourage more botanists to come on over to help out with that. I think the number of botanists determines what your output is. Yeah, your optimal harvest is 12 food units. So we could do some testing with this to see how much they really do make. But we'll have to wait on that. Where are you going during the day? Who's our botanist that's not there? I know we have 2 botanists, right? You're working the night shift. That's a bit strange. At the bar. Are you... Just that's it? You're working the night. Can we kick you out? And see what happens there? Maybe the botanists will go back over to where they belong in the hydroponic farm. We do actually have at this point a couple other options for food. We wound up getting the actual farm tile. Oh no, sorry, it's in progress, I think. Are we in progress with that? Okay, it's a 4th in the queue, so it's a ways away. We also have the fungal farm, which is an outdoor building which can generate food. And we could fit that in somewhere over here. We're kind of tight. I could remove this rare metals depot and push that to the other side, and we could fit that farm in, or we could have the farm come off one of these sides. You know, we could have the farm go here, and the person could walk outside. I did notice that if someone is not working in their home dome, they do get a bit of a morale penalty. So that was kind of interesting to see. It's not too bad, but it does give them like a temporary morale downer. I think that's just something they're going to have to deal with, because it makes more sense to me to have I kind of prefer the centralized approach rather than decentralized. So decentralized meaning I've got a living unit here, I've got a grocery here, and I've got machine parts factory here, because to me it winds up you're able to really see what you need in the services department instead of losing track of them all over the place. Maybe that's not the case. Maybe we'll find out something new as we go. Other things we've changed, we did run out of concrete at this pit here, so I did turn off and basically permanently shut down these 2 concrete extractors. We have to have an ability to clear the ruins out. So they're going to have to just stay as little ruins there for the time being. I am noticing that the dumping area was completely full. So we'll have to make a new dumping pit. It looks real nice, doesn't it? Yeah, let's pretty up the place here.
Research
We have
complete.
more concrete than I ever think we'll ever need. Tons and tons of concrete. I probably could turn one of these off. I even might, just to save on long-term resource availability. So we'll stretch this concrete out for a while, and then maybe turn the other one on if we ever get short again. But I mean, we've got 481 concrete. Now, to be fair, the domes did take a lot. I think that first dome took 80 concrete. So this is a bigger dome and it takes less, but it has more space, which is interesting. Either way, it does take quite a bit of concrete. We finished our heating. What was that? I don't quite recall. Down here, perhaps? Maybe, possibly. Well, I just don't recall. Subsurface heating is what it was. Okay. I don't even remember selecting that. Increases the local temperature in cold areas and protects nearby buildings from cold waves. Consumes water. Oh, it's a subsurface heater. Okay, that's fair. So I guess we put that near buildings that we don't want to freeze up. I haven't seen a cold snap yet, so I don't know how efficient that is. Here's the decommissioning protocol that lets us destroy buildings that we've condemned. We've got a couple of engineering related things that are for housing and for people. Okay, so those are nice. I don't know if we'll necessarily need those right now. Let's push through this last day. We also have uncovered a couple more tiles through scanning, and I'll add a couple more tiles to the queue. But we have a lot of metal up in this area, so we could put a dedicated power source up here, along with a drone hub. Now, I don't know if you can chain together. You probably could. You probably could use the RC transport. We could probably put a... so say we put 2 autonomous metal extractors here, and we put a storage unit in between them. We probably could create a trade route. We could load up metal from here and unload the metal here. So that's probably how you deal with getting materials from a far location back to your main compound. So we definitely could do that. I don't think we necessarily need to right now. We have a good supply of surface metal, and our transport vessel actually was out getting that recently. It looks like there's even more over here. So I will do the load resource, but it's going to be gathering it from the surface. Unloading it here. We're way full up on fuel, so we should be able to fill up like the next 3 shuttles that come out this way. We can immediately send them back home. I might go ahead and turn off the fuel refinery for the moment. We'll try to keep an eye on the fuel resource, but we're way over what we need at this point. Okay, food-wise,
Sector scanned.
our botanist came back in, and we have one more person working at the hydroponic farm. Probably because we did bump it up in priority. So she got fired, so to speak, from the bar, and she started working at the on the hydroponic farm. I might put this back to normal and kick this guy out, and we probably need someone to work at the bar because it does provide relaxation. So that's going to be important. So we've got 22 hours left in our 1 day of making sure that colonists don't die, kind of a thing. I think we could start looking into... We don't have enough to afford buying another shuttle yet. So we probably won't do that, but we will bring out a completely full load of colonists the next episode. And that should really supplement the existing staff. I might even get... So we need, what? At the minimum, we need 2, 4, 6 random non-assigned jobs, right? We don't want to take up our important folks. This is a... oh, this is a no specialist. I'm sorry. This is a botanist, though.
Sector scanned.
And this is a no specialist. So we really want to make sure the no specialists are working in the generic services industry, and our specialists are working in these locations. So maybe a couple more engineers. We could wind up just doing a staff of
Research
5 engineers, and then only turning them on to a building when we need that resource. So, you know, oh, we're starting to get full on machine parts. Let's turn, you know, factory or machine parts off. Sorry, we need polymers. Let's turn machine parts off and then turn the polymer factory back on. So that could be an option. Europe will scan a planetary anomaly in 3 sols. Oh, this is one of these kind of faraway missions that we saw. Right, we have to send people to do this expedition. I don't know if I want to mess with these yet because our crew is so small. Although, what we could do, the next time we get a shuttle here, why don't we try to send out that expedition with the RC Explorer, because it needs a shuttle to go that way. That sounds like fun. Transportation optimization. This means that the transporter harvests resources faster. It has bigger storage, which is nice. This lets us build drone hubs. We already have one more drone hub that I put down from our last episode, or I guess not our last episode, but our last flight in. We brought a drone hub prefab. So I put that down up here to kind of help out with some of the processing in this area. There is a way, let's see, it's not here, is it? Command center. Under drones? I think this is it. You can basically free up drones and have them split a little bit evenly across the rest of your areas, right? So maybe we don't want to overload all of these different drone hubs, so we keep it nice and even. We could have 8 drones each. Maybe let's do this. Well, commander's okay. I don't really think we need a commander per se, because everything currently is within the range of the RC hub. So there's 1, there's 2. Don't we have one down here? Did we put one right there? Okay. So all these are within the range of our drone hubs, so we don't necessarily need any commanders. However, if we were going to start a new, I don't know, it's like an outpost per se, but you know, if we were going to start building up here, then yes, we would want to load up the RC commander, drive them over here, and we could probably bring the transport to also dump the starting materials we would need. Otherwise, we'd have to chain, you know, maybe we could chain, how big is your range, RC commander guy? Not huge. We might be able to chain a supply depot, but that's probably not going to work.
This will go down in history.
Oh, we got it. Okay. The colony has been reviewed and found that no one has died to horrible management. So they've decided to let us order some new colonists. So I think that's a good stopping point. Let's go ahead and put a cut in here. Next episode, we're going to order new colonists. Like it's like something from Amazon. We're going to hire and bring out some new colonists for this colony, for our Japanese colony. We don't really get to name it. I like calling it New Tokyo personally, but that's kind of been my habit. But I don't think we have anywhere to name this thing, do we? Seems a bit odd. Maybe it's like, what game has that? RimWorld, where you have to be alive for a certain amount of time with a certain amount of people, and then you can kind of name your faction and your encampment. Who knows? As of right now, we're just like the kind of like the Japanese colony. So that as a whole, this is just, you know, the Japanese colony. All right, so I'll put a cut in here. If you have any comments about the video, please leave them below. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again next episode.